Good morning. Standing in front of you is a first-generation Polish American. Let me tell you, my last name is Raczkowska, and it says it all. I'm a firm believer that no one or no person can completely be defined by their culture. But in my case, part of my identity lies in my Polish roots, and I want to share that component of it that shows Poland's beauty. Many of you have items that resonate with your culture. In my case, I will speak about the influence that Polish traditional dresses had on my childhood and why it's important to me. So, to get in more depth, growing up, my first language was Polish. Therefore, I went through the realms of it and only spoke it at home. It wasn't until I got into kindergarten that I had to realize that English had to also be one of my languages. So, my parents' solution to that was making me attend a Polish Catholic school. So, that's where I got my exposure to also following through with a lot of the traditions that are commonly known in my culture. So, all in all, I will be explaining the significance of traditional dresses through my own experience and what they mean in my culture, as well as how it symbolizes Poland as a whole. Firstly, I will share my experiences of wearing the dresses in Polish school and how it affected my thinking and my understanding at the time. Then, I will describe further what the patterns mean on the traditional dresses themselves. And lastly, I will explain the unity of these dresses for Polish culture. So, before I get into it, I just wanted to show you guys parts of the dress. Right here, we have this, which is what I wore in kindergarten and obviously could not get into right now. But what I will do for the time being is put on this little floral arrangement as I'm explaining how it affected my childhood. So, to start, in my childhood, my mom would show a bunch of photography when she was a kid. She would show me how it made her feel empowered, and how it made her really feel like a Polish woman. I knew I wanted to follow in that footsteps, and I remember getting into her dress for the first time ever. And my mom would always be one to tell me of its importance. So, despite me having the exposure as a kid, going into Polish school, it gave me a whole nother realm of experience. I would wear them in Polish school for different festivals, for dances, and also different plays that we would have. It was just a form of expression, and as I show you this one right here, I'll specifically be talking about the cultural costumes that are made in Białystok, Poland, which are the ones that are found in my parents' hometown. So, all of us students would wear it based upon where our parents were located at, so that it would signify best with our own. My Polish school teacher always explained, and in her own words stated that these dresses show a lot of our history and represent the unity to other Polacks. It's beautiful to see the immense connection that we as students would have because we'd be able to show other students and explain to them what it means to us. So, despite my childhood connection to the dresses, it's also very important to understand the elaborate designs that are found on them. So, in order to understand it better, I'm going to start off with this top part right here. This right here is called a gorsetta, and this is what is worn basically on women. And men also have intricate designs, but I'll be focusing on this specifically. Right here you have a bunch of designs and it's very colorful and everything, but I want to go into two specific meanings, which is how the flowers are set up and the type of flowers it is. So, the way that they're set up is the tree of life, and according to Żurewski, a very well-known blogger in Poland, explained her take and the historical significance that it has. So as you see, these flowers are placed in a way that represent them being on top of one another, which is oftentimes referenced as the tree of life. Many Polish people believe that it would provide protection, fertility, and strength, hence all of the curving designs that show them bringing it all together. Whereas the actual floral designs in itself go to Polish folktales. They're called Szczecilne dziewięć, which translates to a word that's compounded between 9 and powerful. There's a famous Polish folklore that shows that there are 9 mystical flowers that help with healing and is more powerful than any herbs you can take. and it really goes into the folklore aspect that a lot of Polish people want to represent. Here's also the back, which shows the symmetrical design and better represents that tree of life aspect that I referenced before. Now, as I've told you the explanation of what it means, it's important to also put aside how this connects to my culture. In my culture, there's a distinguishment between it, so it's important to understand that it's not a costume, but it's a traditional dress. So, the way that these dresses are made also are very important because of the rigorous process. Oftentimes, a lot of different regions were brought together because of the amount of work that it took, and it allows people to express themselves in a way based on their region, just like how every different state has different kinds of food and whatnot. So, nonetheless, by Kazimska, it goes to show how the past and the history is implemented in this, and it shows that unity that we want to show. Therefore, despite all the different components of it, it's really important to distinguish those and understand the significance. Through my own use of personal examples, the explanation of designs, and the correlation to how it goes to my culture, I hope you understand the importance of it all. Needless to say, it was an incredible opportunity to speak to you all about my culture, and hopefully you can walk away knowing a little bit more about Polish tradition. Thank you so much for taking your time to listening to this.